illustrations are going to be reduced in size when they're published, and that really tells and tends to really look nice. So I almost always, unless there's some reason I can't, I'll paint definitely larger than the reproduction is going to end up to take advantage of that. Now, as I'm getting out of this group of feathers, the strokes are going to get larger because you don't see as much detail on that side. It's starting to get really dark, so I'm not as worried about that side as I am the front side or the left side. I'm still certainly going to be more careful around this bottom edge where it abuts up against the white feathers. And now I'm going to go up to my number 2 brush, start getting bigger brushes as I get further to the right. You were asking about the brushes that I use, and the Scepter gold brushes that I really liked a lot were a mixture of synthetic and natural hairs. And I kind of like that combination. The synthetic hairs tend to last longer, and the natural hairs tend to hold water better. And now on this right side, I'm digging into the really dark mixture that I made, so I've switched over. And I never know how many steps this is going to take, how many times it's going to take for me to go through this process. It could be different every time I paint it, but it almost always takes at least 3 steps, I would say. So I think what I'm going to do now is come in and use kind of the same technique again, but starting and working to the right. So I'm going to darken up some of the details on that side, the right side. Once you get the first feather shapes in there, it's a little bit easier the steps after that because they're already there and you can just kind of reinforce a lot of it. But it doesn't require quite as much looking back and forth to your picture. Zap that with the dryer. Okay, now I'm going to take that lighter blue mixture and I'm going to take the number 2 brush and I'm going to do a bit of a wash over that area again. Now this will soften some of the marks I already put down, or the feather patterns, but I can come back in and reinforce those again, so don't panic if that's what it does.
You just try and go in the same direct feathers as your wash.
Yes, I do try to go generally in the same direction of the feathers. And of course, the paint that you put down in watercolor, it's going to dry and dull it down a little bit, so it's not going to be as intense as what you're putting down. So it's something I always try to keep in mind. So I'm going about halfway or a little bit further than halfway into the really dark area. Now, it did soften those details, but when it dries, some of those will come out, and now I'm going to see if this is dark enough. If it is, then I'll finish with details on top. Okay, it's certainly a lot darker on the screen there than it is in real life. And again, you're welcome to come up and take a quick peek every once in a while. But so now it's as dark as I want it to be for the wash, and now I'm going to reinforce those markings again. Yeah, it looks a lot lighter. And then this is what the finish will end up looking like. Here I'll put this is what it ends up looking like more in the end. So now, once that's dry, that wash I just did, once that's dry, you'll want to wait for it to dry for sure. I'm going to go back in and put my details on top. And now I'm taking more of the skin around the edges of my puddle to try to get these sharper details. Here's a kind of a look too. You can see up close if you want.
Yeah, I was really struggling getting that dark blue color. I just don't think I have the right blue on.
Oh, really? What do you have?
I think I have cerulean blue.
Oh, yeah, cerulean would be
It's
tough.
too bright.
Yeah, I would say either cobalt or French ultramarine mixed with that. The cerulean's definitely
It's
a
too
lighter blue.
turquoisey.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. So that blue that we mixed for the area above the eye is most likely the same blue we're going to use in the streaky feathers right below the kind of on the S curve of the neck there. So if you've got some left over, you can certainly save it for that. Okay, what I'm going to do now is pause on what I'm doing and try to take a quick run around to see